Thanks again for staying with us on the program this morning on ITV. Lovely Monday morning. The Edo State governorship election is come and gone, but the memories will linger on for several reasons. Some of them we'll talk about in the course of the next 30, 45 minutes. But the focus really is to begin to chart a course for the second term administration of Governor Godwin Obaseki. I'm joined now by Comrade Harrison Izeko, is a member of the already legislative arm. Harrison, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
We're also expecting Zachary Idris to join this conversation. I'm sure any moment from now he will be here for us to deepen our conversation on the program. Well, let me begin with you, Harrison, since you're here now. The election has come and gone. As is always the case, when something happens, whether in the positive or in the negative, whether it's as you expected or as unexpected as the case may be, we always advance reasons why it happened the way it happened. So, looking at the election proper and the outcome of the election, what are your thoughts on what shaped the outcome of the polls?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, let me wholeheartedly appreciate God Almighty for this victory. It's only God that have given us this victory. And they use the people to do the right thing. I want to also thank Edo people for coming out en masse. Even despite the threat here and there, federal might, this, that, the people everywhere was shocked up on that day. And the people voted, they went behind, and they defended their votes. We want to thank them, we want to thank God Almighty, we want to thank all the traditional rulers and all the religious leaders for the prayers and everything they did to make sure Edo did not move backward. Having said that, I think the build up to this election, I was very frequent on air, and for those of us who were very, very optimistic, who were not waving our support for the governor, we believe that there were reasons why the governor have to come back. The question I was asking them up to the day of the election, I was asking them, I've not got an answer. The question was, what has the governor done that you want him to be removed? Nobody was able to answer. You see, what have happened is a clear indication that power belongs to the people. That never again have some few set of persons we just sit down at their convenience and decide what happened in our state. The people sit down and they look at the two parties. They look at the man, this man have won, let me continue. And that is what we saw. You know, the church were there. So many things that play to this election that make us, that allow the vote to go. It's like they're so sad. The vote went one way. The reason was that Edo people, the Benin people wanted to tell them that one man cannot decide our fate. One man cannot tell Benin people what to do. And the Benin people were resolute. One man from Lagos cannot sit down and is coming and to tell Edo people to reject their own son. It was unimaginable. You know, these are some of the things that will make the election finally one way. One man sat one place saying that he's going to spend his last kobo. It's uncalled for. If you want to support the trend, you don't need to go on air.
So are you saying in effect?
So what I'm saying is that some of these things
influence the outcome.
Influence the outcome. People became angry the more.
Okay, now let me just take you on that point.
And decided to do it the way.
Let me take you on that point. Will it be convenient for us to say that, to an extent, ethnicity rather than performance influenced substantially the outcome of this election, using these votes from Edo South, which you are from, for example?
My brother, you see, first is performance. Edo people saw what the governor had done. And when we are coming here on air to tell this is what the governor had done, our opponents refused to acknowledge that this governor have worked. And that, to some extent, also contributed to their setback. Because you cannot come on air and telling lies when the people are seeing that what you are saying that is not there, the people are seeing it. That contributed. So performance was number one indication. Then number two, we the Edo speaking people, the question we are asking, a man will go on there and tell you that I brought this man before, and now this man is so good, they want to bring another person. It was an embarrassment. It was an insult to Edo people, to the Benin people. And we are waiting for him. Let us see how you, who is not from here or your way, to come and tell us what we are going to do in our Benin-speaking area. We were waiting for him.
So that's ethnicity.
And it was very clear because it was an embarrassment to our people. That one man from a minority will not come and tell us here with the majority that this is the person he wants us to support. You cannot speak for us.
But when he did that 4 years ago, there was no problem with that.
Listen, my brother, yes. You see what happened 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago he did that. There was nothing wrong with that.
There was no issue.
Yes.
What happened 4 years ago, he came aboard to tell us that yes, this is the man. He felt he have worked with this man. He understands this man. He knows what this man is doing. And he sold the man to the people. Some people even rejected the man, even the Benin-speaking people.
Yes.
Now the man you brought have performed. The question we are not asking him, what have happened? Why are you not saying this man cannot continue? And he could not explain. He was telling us, don't worry, I brought this man, I will bring another Benin person. And the other time, in some media chat, that Benin people, when you throw corn on the floor, they will pick it. You were insulting us that we cannot be united. And for the first time, you are showing unity from the 7 local governments in the Tosan. Even where they are kind of we are from, we defeated them. That tells you that you cannot take the people for granted. You cannot override your interest on the people. You cannot be bigger than everybody. They were playing God, telling us this product is no longer good. I want to give you another product. Are you to give to us? No. So I'm happy with our people. In fact, for the very first time, we came together, we were united. You saw the block go from Moredo. You saw it Mobaoka, you saw it go. And now I've prayed this thing over the time that this is the way it's going to play. So whatever you're going to do from elsewhere, you cannot match what have come up. So the governor, he said it's good. He has performed. It's an indication to everybody that henceforth, if you're in government, make sure you do things that people can see.
Okay.
Don't put government money in your private pocket or settle your godfather. Because one day the judgment day will come, like what we saw on the 19th of December.
What do you make of insinuations in some quarters that all that we saw, particularly from Edo South, was predicated on the highest bidder getting his way, as it were?
You see, like I said, I started by giving thanks to God. Because the money that came to this state on Wednesday before that election, it looked as if they were putting money together to go and do presidential election. On a Thursday, we had a meeting in Ward 4 where the governor addressed us that the money in this state, but we must go out to make sure we encourage our people to come and vote and defend our votes. We don't have money to spend. They were so powerful enough that even the federal allocation did not come. They have to move it to the other way so that the government will be handicapped. Even with the money that was with them, we got to the field. They were sharing their 5,000, 7,000. We have no money to share.
You were sharing your 2,000,
we don't have money. In my unit, I stood up that money telling them that nobody will share money in this place. Now, if you share money, we'll arrest you. And those who were there, they can testify to it. And we started the process. When we saw they were doing it, we make sure we have to cage them so that they will go outside the school premises. So those that were giving money, they were not able to monitor what they were voting for. And the people collected the money and go and vote their choice. At the end of the day, they stood waiting. When they begin to see the counting, before you turn back, they started leaving one by one. It was very clear. With all the money spent in that place, they have 82 votes. I was having 300 votes. The people have realized that whether money or no money, we must do the right thing. And I think that gradually we are getting to the end of this issue of money can buy vote. It didn't work because they have all the resources. The who to who in Nigeria brought money for them to make sure they will be able to buy the vote. But it didn't work because what God had in this. And our people were ready. You cannot say because of money, you have insulted us that if you throw corn on the floor, we'll come and eat the corn. That's how to treat the Benin-speaking people. And we told you that we prove him wrong, that it's not true. We love our people, we love performance, we love good things. And we don't want mediocres to take over the corridor of power again. We must move forward. And that is what you saw on that day. And by the special grace of God, a pace has been set. If Governor Obaseki, after 4 years, he now decides to be a godfather, I will work against him. I am not a conventional politician, but a human rights activist. The man has set a pace, and he must follow it. We must withdraw this government from the hands of few persons. People will already celebrating on Wednesday. I don't know where they got the power from. That they have won. So one of my colleagues called me and said, enter hustle. Because federal media are coming.
Yeah, that brings me to that to that subject in the conversation, what is it about federal might? Is it a person, or I'd like to get your thoughts on it. Yeah.
It's quite unfortunate that we live in a precarious political environment.
Yes.
Federal might, we are just talking about those who own the federal government, the presidency.
Okay.
That is where their strength lies. That we are going to bring military, police officer, DSS to come to town. And when you see these people, they will aid them to make sure they will not allow the process to go the way it's supposed to go. You were dealing with a more sophisticated governor, an educated mind, a man that sees beyond what we were looking at. This governor already picked in to the EU, with the American government, with the British government. He has come to inform them, please come and be an observer in this election. Don't allow this election be the way it used to be. And the federal might, when they begin to see the resolution, the threats from this international community, their federal might begin to enter into their federal. Because the British government have said, if you go this way, we will make sure you will not enter our country. If you have property in our country, we will seize those property. Your children cannot fly in. We will make sure we persecute you with international laws.
Go on, just go on.
We will make sure we persecute you with international laws. And it became something that they will not be able to do. And because of that, the president on his own have to make sure that the election, he told the police officer coming, the federal man they were talking about, go and maintain law and order. And let me give it to them. The police were fair. They are not ready to do their work. Because the whole world was watching. Let me go to the situation room that the government introduced, digital. As you speak from the units, as a result of being collected, we are sending it. Each local government had their screen, you were watching it. It has never happened. So there is nothing you can hide about it. The man was prepared for the election. He was prepared for the election. The zone was just all his phone, be moving around everywhere. We're already collecting the result. Was strolling, taking tea, watching it, everything from screen. As the things coming for unit by unit, how do you change it? So they were handicapped, and the federal bank did not work. Nigeria will be a better place tomorrow if we have to follow this pace. If we follow the way we are going, election will be free and fair in this country. Because the sitting governor on his own was prepared for it. He didn't want to be taken unaware. That is why you find out that when they were not coming, they were not telling that this thing not going to work again. It's not business as usual. Because the man you are dealing with are pushing beyond local election, international election. The whole world was watching. People were monitoring election abroad, apart from diaspora. They were monitoring from our system, watching everything happening in all the units. Mind you, every election is being won at the unit level. Because in the world, in all the units in Edo State, as you finish the election, you will count it there. The results will be released there. As an agent, I will have my copy, and you paste it on the wall there. So if everything there has been recorded, and you will not get to local government or state level, you don't say you are changing it. How do you do it? So as you are putting it, you are sending it everywhere. Immediately I stopped the results, I put it on air. People already commenting. Others were putting their own. We are already collecting our result. Before 7 p.m. on that day, we already know that we have won the election. Because the result was already in our palm. So we want to give it to INEC. We thank them for maintaining peace. We thank them for doing the right thing. And the security agencies, the ones that came from the federal government, the SARS people that came, when I had the two issue in my unit, they came. They were more than 20. And then what is the problem? We just said there's no problem. Say, please do the right thing. If there's any problem, call this number. And everything went away. So we thank God for everything.
Thank you very much. It's the TMI Monday, X-raying the outcome of Edo 2020 governorship election with a view to setting the template for future elections in the country and to ensure that we have a sustainable democracy that we'll all be proud of in the days to come, in the weeks to come, in the months to come, in the years to come. As you know, any country that will allow free, fair, credible election, that's the first step to ensuring that good governance comes to the people. And when that is achieved, naturally, other things will fall into place. As some say, if you can deal with political corruption, every other form of corruption will cease to exist. As a matter of fact, there is a ranking in corruption, and some say the highest rank of corruption is political corruption, and that once you're able to deal with that, decimate that, then you're sure as a country, as a people, you're on the path of progress. Okay, let me thank very specially Idris Zekari, who was here with us all through our conversations for the election. I actually expected Idris would be here a little bit much earlier, so would have had some time to engage some of the issue. But what is most important is here. Now, Idris, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you so much. I apologize to our viewers for coming a little behind.
All right, it's understandable. So, Idris, give us your perspectives. The 2020 the governorship election is come and gone, but the memories will linger on. What are your major pullouts from the election?
First of all, my major pullout is that Edo people are mature politically now, and so much so that we now conduct ourselves more importantly, more important than the outcome of the election, in a peaceful manner. And we are talking about peaceful elections, and you saw the demonstration of that by Edo people even when we had a lot of grievances, even when there were a lot of gray areas, conducted ourselves in a very peaceful manner. I think that is the biggest takeaway from these 2020 elections. The other glorious and very flattering words used to describe the election, you know, I as much as possible, since the election just ended, yeah, I've tried as much as possible to avoid joining issues with, especially those on the side who INEC has announced as winners. There are lots of issues to discuss in there. Okay. However, as much as possible, so that it won't be as if you have started opposition immediately after the election. Yes. So we allow that to pass. We allow that to flow. But I think the biggest takeaway from the election is the peaceful nature of the election. There are lots of pre-election issues, and as I am aware of now, even election issues proper. All those will be extracted by the political party, and the candidate in the state have not come out with an official position. Okay. What we have is congratulatory messages from the president and all of that, and some individuals, including myself. Okay. I put it on my social media and to congratulate the ones announced by INEC as winners. That's how a Democrat behave.
No, when you say the ones announced by INEC, who was supposed to announce it? It looks like there's another one that is supposed to be announced.
No,
or there's another announcement you are expecting.
There was an election and INEC announced winner.
Yes.
Let me give you a vivid example. Okay. Did INEC not announce winner in Bayelsa? Did INEC not announce winner in Imo State? They all had winners, you know. But are they the people that were announced winners by INEC? Are they governors today? Okay, now I get the point. So now, let me just put you on the spot with this question. You said something a while ago. I'm trying to see how I can piece it together so that I can get the appropriate response from you as it relates to. Okay, now you talked about the major gains from the election. What are the low points of the election in your opinion? The low points of the election is, as we now know, someone was shot in Ovia Southwest. Someone was also shot somewhere in Eastern Land. There was voter intimidation in certain areas. It was mentioned that a sitting member of the House of Rep was detained by men of the DSS to make sure that they put him out of circulation for the election.
Did he eventually vote?
Of course. They say he couldn't vote on election day. I'm talking of Patrick Isoweren, the APC House of Rep member representing Uwonde and Uwonde Federal Constituency. You know, so all these issues are there. At the end of the day, I do not expect a perfect process. You know, the only part, where I have a lot of arguments with the PDP is that they make it seem as though what we had was a foolproof process. Of course it was not. And so there's no perfect process, there's no perfection in this process. We are all striving to perfection. And look, in time past, when election results are announced like this, those on the losing end will go to the streets and create chaos. You see, protest. But now, political maturity has suggested that now we can take results, even when it's unfavorable, and tell our supporters, please, this is what INEC has announced. Whatever grievances we have, there are constitutional mediums of addressing them. Yeah. And there are lots of pre-election issues also. Yeah. Lots of pre-election. I give you a good example. For example, the candidate of the PDP may need to explain to a federal judge how you can...
This, you said pre-election. I'm sure some of these matters are in court, so there will be subsidies if we decide to go on a full throttle in discussing.
No, you know, of course you can say this case is in court without making...
That's what you've established.
Yes.
Okay, now let me just bring you up to speed with this issue. The election is come and gone, at least for now. Let me follow your line of thinking. What, in your opinion, accounted for the victory of the incumbent governor? Is it performance? Is it popularity?
Okay.
Is it the hope that seems to have been given to Edo people?
Let me, your question is very easy to answer. If you talk to the average person on the street, they will tell you, I've spoken with quite a number of them. They will say, I don't vote Obaseki because of Obaseki. I don't even like PDP. But I vote him because we don't want Godfather. That's the general opinion. It's not even about performance.
Okay.
I mean, performance is easy to see. If it starts raining now, you can't get to town. The realities are there. Do you know a night to election, it rained, and people passed through the erosion to go and vote? So it couldn't have been about performance. It was, we don't want Godfather. And even this Godfather that we are talking about, let us try to x-ray it a bit. Who is a Godfather? Who has Godfathered who? The only time that we can say we had a Godfather was when the candidate of the PDP, then in the APC, was brought from nowhere. He was not even a voting citizen of Edo State and made the governor. That's the only time we have had Godfather. But since after then, what we now was a democratic, the space was opened up. That as a sitting governor, you cannot claim that you have right of first refusal. Let us have people around to also compete with you for this ticket. And he left the party, got nominations in two parties, and then left one of the parties to contest in the other party. So it couldn't have been about performance. There is a propaganda machine, and I give it to the PDP. Honestly, I must commend them. I must commend them, to be very honest. You see, when your contestant, your co-contestant does something better than you, must say, ha, this one you did, it was ingenious. Their propaganda machine was ingenious. I have never seen something like this. Maybe the only time I have seen something as effective as that propaganda machine, it was what happened in Germany during the time of Adolf Hitler, the propaganda machinery of Adolf Hitler. Nothing compares to it. You see, how easy could it be that you take a former national chairman of the APC, a former governor, a former NLC president, and now remove all his khaki and now wear him clothes as the godfather of Edo State politics? And in any case, we have new godfathers now. The latest godfather of Edo State politics, in case you are not aware, it says Zemoye Sonwiki, the governor of Rivers State and a very good friend to the governor of Edo State. So it could not have been about performance, because when you talk of performance, there's nowhere to point to. The 200,000 job is still a mirage. Of course, elections are over, so we can tell ourselves the bitter truth. Even those on the other side can tell. We can now look in our eyes and say, my brother, through this 200,000 job, no deal. The roads are almost gone. The few good roads in Benin are the ones built by the previous administration. The schools are still not are still the way they were as when Adam Shomoli left office. The red roof, no new ones have been built. The higher institutions are still closed as we speak. Most of the state-owned higher institutions, apart from Ambrosali and Edo University, are still closed. All the others, Ambrosali is open now. Edo University, Ambrosali is closed because of COVID-19. Same with Edo University, but School of Health Technology, College of Education Ekiadolo, and all the other state, College of Agriculture Egworiaki, they are still closed. So it could not have been about performance.
All right, Harrison Zeko, we just have a few more minutes to call it a wrap. Going forward, what are your expectations?
Well, let me sympathize with my brother. I thought by now they ought to have learned a lesson. You mean with all that have happened, we have not learned anything? You are still coming on there to tell people it's not about performance, you don't do anything, don't do that. We should be objective in our analysis. The election is over. Why would you go to the street to protest when you lost woefully, when you did not win anywhere in the whole of Edo South? It is only when you, maybe the ratio is 100, maybe 60 or 40. That's when you can even have anything to say. In my convention center, throughout the night, no one APC member was in the place because they knew they lost everywhere. In the transition unit, they lost. So what would they be doing there? When you are seeing 56 over 200 or something, is that what you are going to contest? So my brother, The issue of coming on air again to start telling people that the government is not about this, let's forget about that one. You mentioned also where belong to the school authority of federal might. He is from the federal, he belongs to the federal, they brought the federal might to Benin. So if the same federal might did not allow him to go and vote as you have alleged, then I think it's a big question for you to answer. Because I know it's a federal legislation. The security agent came from Abuja. Our own was just to make sure we maintain law and order, we do our voting, we defend our vote. So if they also not allow him not to vote, that means he have come to do the wrong thing. Because the security were there to stop those who were coming to do negative things at the police center. So if your federal lawmaker decide to come and do the otherwise, then they have to dance to the music. So therefore, we are going forward from here. The governor is going to consolidate on what he has done. We are going to complete all the ongoing projects, and we are going to award new ones. I want to assure those people that never again will some group of persons, some multiple set of persons will not decide the fate of the people. The people have come out to let us know that power belongs to them. This government will continue in its projects, and it will defend democracy. This government will not be a problem to the will of progress in Edo State. It will do what it needed to do, and when the time comes to hand over, it will also maintain free and fair election. So whoever is going to succeed, it will build on top of what we have done. We want to thank Edo people for helping us to retire those who feel that this state belongs to them. You talk about the national chairman. I'm happy you mentioned it, how it was removed and all that. Today, a man they say that he's not a politician. He doesn't know anything. We are able to make sure, first of all, to remove national chairman from being national chairman of APC. He came back to Edo State. He started to do another God again. We make it to understand that this state does not belong to the people. And the people voted today. He's in one room doing exercise. Say, you have to win so, you have to do so. It's normal. We appreciate it. But what we are saying is that let everybody come to you. You are not being democratic. But I expect you at this moment to be to say, okay, let's come together and work. You are saying he didn't do this one. Pre-election matter. People won election by they were not government. That will not happen in the state. By the special grace of God, the God that has led us far. We stand for the truth. God is part of what we are doing. So what does the you are looking at what you are doing? Those
God is not only in your bedroom.
Yeah, they see my brother. If you can take someone who took 4 in Imo State to become a governor, you think that will happen in this place?
I didn't take him.
No, that is what your party did. That's what Marshall Sherman did. A man who was fought in an election became the governor. You said the PDP person was not okay. The second person was, the third person was not, you're not the fourth person. And those things began. And that we have demonstrated on Saturday that we are not the kind of people you just push like that. Through the system we are put in place. The same system we're going to follow it. Whether you are going to court, we are waiting for you. By the special grace of God, at the end of the day, this 4 years tenure will be complete. And PDP will elect another governor. From here, we'll progress to the national. The movement has started.
Okay. Let me get Idris. Idris, I want to ask you this question. Are you in any way excited about the possibility of, because now you said, I'm asking this question because sadly, as it may seem, the law remains the law,
True.
Irrespective of how you feel about it.
Yes, of course.
Within the context of Nigeria's electoral process, you have two kind of announcements. The announcement by INEC, constitutionally empowered to do so. And then you have the announcement by the courts. You are excited about the possibility of the courts' involvement in this election, in a sense.
As a Democrat, the courts are there for a reason. They earn salaries so that they can listen to any kind of litigations that you have. Whatever your challenges are, even if it's minor, even if it's considered trivial, they listen to it. Yeah. You know, he talked about Imo now, they brought somebody from force. Somebody brought somebody from, well, of course we didn't do that. It's the court, the Supreme Court. You also know that you benefited from Bayelsa. The guy lost in the 8th local government, the PDP guy lost in the 8th local government, just because of minor discrepancies in the name of the deputy governor, who is a sitting senator. I mean, he was preparing to be sworn in the next day, but you know, he was never sworn in. We should not play God. Just the same way you say you have removed Godfather. Don't play God. You know, the kind of arrogance we are seeing now that, oh, if he does not behave himself, then we will not show any mercy. That's not how Democrats talk. You say we should come together. Who will call us to come together is you that has won, purportedly. That should say, oh, let us work together. But when you show from the beginning, I would have expected by now, the governor would have said, it's not even 17 State House of Assembly members that have not been inaugurated that have been, you know, we have parallel assemblies now, 2 speakers. Please, everybody, let us come together. You cannot run the state with 5 legislators. That's not democracy. That's the height of undemocratic practices. No matter the threat you feel, oh, they want to come and remove me. Why are you afraid? They say a man runneth, a wicked man runneth even when no one pursueth him. And that's the situation we are having. I would have said by now, immediately after the election, please, I am Edo State governor and I am the father of everybody. So please let us come together, let us work together. But if you go online, if you even go to the social media channels of most of the aides to the governor, the tone, the language, immediately shows that they are not ready to even create room for anybody. I give you a vivid example. A day after the election, someone, a friend of mine, had a reason to go to government house. And when he got there, another person who is his friend also, we all attended university, saw him and said, what are you doing here? Because we are owner. It's Edo State government house, PDP government house. He said, Edo State government house. You must know how to remove the individual from the party. And that is what the president has shown, and I expect the governor to domesticate in Edo State. Even the governor one is a PDP governor. And the president received him. Even made jokes about it to him. If the president was not father to all, and if the federal matter people are alleging, if it has been deployed, are we going to be talking about this? In any case, state might is what they have deployed in this election. Yes, emptying the treasury, appointing SSAs at will, you know, pounding voters. If you talk too much, if you talk too much about the governor, before you know, people will start calling you, they disturb our government, they disturb our government. So this is state might they deploy. Okay, and the president,
not federal.
No, the president we know is a gentleman. He will fold his hands and be looking at, even if you are his best friend. The best he can do to you is say, I will provide security. Go and walk.
Okay. All right. Let me get your reaction before we call it a wrap.
Well, but brother, let me sympathize with you again.
No, it's okay to sympathize.
God, we are young people.
True.
And we have future ahead of us. So we must not do things the way our parents were doing it or the way the leaders have done it over the years. This governor have come out openly to make an announcement, thanking everybody, telling everybody we must work together so that we can move this state forward. We cannot do it alone. But not to say that the 14 members which their seat have been declared vacant, the matter is in court, that the governor should call them to come to which house? They should go to court. The matter is already in court, so they should wait for the judgment. They took the matter to court. Because when I was coming here, anytime I sit down here, Washington Osifo will be here. I appeal to him as my senior brother, that let us resolve this issue. They all put their mind on other social media. Who gave them the mind that it was the God, that is the president? He is the cause of all this problem. I regretted leaving APC. But the man stood to tell you that.
I don't want to get personal.
No, it's not personal. It's not personal.
When you say because he made himself God, and I mean that's not personal. I don't want that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. The impression he was given. These people were 14 for goodness sake. They left Benin to go and stay in Abuja. When they were supposed to come and find their way into the house and make sure they do their work within. Somebody was telling them, don't go. Don't worry, we'll do this, we'll do that. And now the thing have come this way. When we are appealing, if they should go and withdraw the matter, they should be caught. You cannot have a case in court. You are not saying that the governor should not come to their which house. So if they want peace, they will go and withdraw the matter from the court. They will go and subject themselves for swearing. But now the matter is in court. Until court decide, nobody can do anything about it. It's my brothers, they were the one that took the matter to court. So therefore, the governor have opened his hand wide. Everybody must come together to work and make sure those things move forward. No personal issue here. Because if I were to look at benefit, I will not be on the side of the government. If I wanted to follow money,
no,
you are talking about Edo State money. Who shared money? Who had the money to share? It was your party. All the billionaires were in your party. They were the one bringing the money. I see what you people from Lagos made me very clear that is interested in this state and he want to do everything within his power to make sure they got this place. When we are caught, it's only that we rejected. So what are we talking about? It's not about everybody cannot go this way. It's integrity. And we have demonstrated it. We are saying today here that everybody who wanted those states to move forward, the government is open. Let us come together and make sure we move forward.
Can we cascade this pattern of election to other parts of the country and in our general election? Is it possible sustaining this pattern?
You know, elections is in majorly two phases, three phases: pre-election, election, and post-election. I think we can adopt the post-election pattern of peace, okay, whichever way the pendulum swings. Yeah. Peace. That's the post-election now. For the election, well, peace also, relative peace. Of course, we know there were patches of violence. Yeah. But relative peace. But pre-election, you know, deliberately sustaining a very wicked propaganda against your brothers, forgetting that after the elections we will become brothers again. We are. We are. Of course, we can't run away from each other. We are both in this state.
Like what happened in 2016?
Yeah.
You don't want to make
no, we are one there. You see, even the 2016 you mentioned, even the 2016 you mentioned, we have only had one beneficiary. We have only had one beneficiary, and that is the governor.
Okay.
You understand? So, sustaining a wicked propaganda against a selected individual, clothing them the way you want it, getting so many persons and flooding them into the social media space to take over social media and, you know, and skew the narrative is something we should not do. You know why? At the end of the day, this thing I'm saying is not just peculiar to Edo State. You see it even in the US elections.
Yeah.
I watched this morning how Donald Trump was even openly saying he will not accept the result of the election, that it's going to be rigged. Have you heard that in the US?
Yeah.
So it tells you about the countenance of the man who is in charge. Okay. So we don't need to do so much propaganda if you have worked. If you have worked, all you need to do is to go to a ward and say, in this your ward, check that school, check that school, check that road. I did it. Re-elect me to do more. You don't need to make anybody godfather or anybody godson and anybody god the children.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, I want to thank you for coming on the program. If I have more time, probably I'd love to continue with this conversation. Idris, thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Harrison, thanks again.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break and then we'll look at the suspended strike by the organized labor that was bid to take place today. Suspended now for 2 weeks just to create room for stakeholders to engage, interact, and then find a common ground, a lasting solution. We'll be back with you in a moment. Don't go away.